Hello and thank you for joining us on Across the Line, your weekly highlights and review show of the English Premier League. This weekend I have with me Hassooni, who will be running through some of the action and reviews of this weekend's games. The games that we'll be covering in order: Everton versus Tottenham, Newcastle versus Chelsea, Fulham versus Manchester United, Arsenal versus Liverpool, Manchester City versus Norwich. And shortly we'll be going over to Hassooni to run us through the games and highlights and goals of those matches. But before then, please send in your comments, reviews and opinions. We find them very interesting here on Across the Line, and maybe in the future you might see yourself or your comments shown on the show. And we're going over to Hassooni now.
Thank you, Mohammad, for that great introduction. We're going to cover a few of the highlights of this weekend's actions, and obviously we're going to start with the match that ended up goalless throughout the weekend. Was the Tottenham and Everton match. That match happened in Goodison Park, in the Everton Stadium, and obviously that match had a few bumps and throughout the road, but overall it was a very good match for the neutrals. Everton went attacking very more or less every chance they had, and Tottenham were really in the backpedaling throughout the whole time. But obviously Tottenham, with the experience they have in the squad, they tried fixing up their game and attacking. Eriksen came on in the second half to try and change a few things that happened. Dawson receiving man of the match, and of course the biggest incident throughout the match was Lukaku bumping his leg into the head of Hugo Lloris. Let's go and take a look at that incident. That must have hurt. Of course, Hugo Lloris was down for a few minutes on the floor, and that's why there was 9 minutes out of injury time. But anyway, let's go on to our next game between Newcastle and Chelsea. Well, now St. James's Park is a very tough stadium to go to, so obviously all the big teams that go there will always struggle. But Chelsea just had an amazing matchup against Man City, and then they played really well against Arsenal. So a lot of people were expecting Chelsea to perform really well. They went there. They had a slightly different mentality and different squad in the middle. You know, with Mata starting, he hasn't started a lot of games this season, but he started this one, and it just went downhill for them. Newcastle were just the better team. Obviously, Kabai took a free kick, crossed it in, Gouffran scored, and then Louis Tremi, who was causing a lot of problems for the defenders. Let's go and take a look at both goals, and obviously, you can leave us any comments about what goals you think, which goal mainly stood out for you during that match. Ooh, obviously both goals were very good goals. Well, Gouffran's first goal, it was all about the delivery from Kabai, and Remy is just a world-class striker, so you have to just make a decision and decide which goal was the best one. Now, we will move on to the next game between Manchester United and Fulham. Well, Man United have been in a big drought as of late, but they've stepped up their game. The last 3 games they've had, they've stepped it up, and of course, this game was no different. They've started really well with Valencia in the 9th minute, combining with Rooney, and Rooney giving him a very good ball to finish. Valencia scores a very good goal. Let's go and take a look at the goal. Now we're back. You saw how good Rooney's pass was to Valencia. He opened his body, found a room. He could have played it first time to Van Persie, but of course he didn't want to make no mistake. So he waited, found Valencia, and scored a very good goal. The second goal, of course, was Van Persie. Adnan Januzaj, who's been the talk of a lot of Man United fans, and a lot of Man United fans have been rooting for Adnan Januzaj as of late. Of course, at the end of the day, he played a very good ball to Van Persie. Van Persie decided to go near post, not far post. Now let's go and take a look at that goal as well. The third goal, of course, Wayne Rooney scored a very good goal. And it was more or less a tap-in. Van Persie had the ball on the right side. Van Persie obviously prefers crossing it with his left, waited, played it through, and Rooney came in for the tap-in. Let's go and take a look at that goal, and we can see exactly how world-class Van Persie and Rooney's combination is. Of course, after the 3-0, the first half finished, and Kazanaklic had to just score a consolation goal for Fulham. Obviously, David Moyes done 3 substitutions within the first half. He took off 3 players and brought in another fresh faces. And obviously, United still struggling to keep a clean sheet. And of course, let's go and take a look at that Fulham goal. Of course, a lot of United fans are hoping this will be the turning point for the United season, and maybe it will be. Of course, will they stop conceding goals in the back because they've had a lot of defensive problems as of late? Well, we just have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen. And obviously, a lot of things could fall in hand for them within the game on Sunday at 4 o'clock between them and Arsenal. To the next game that I've been looking forward to, of course, is between Arsenal and Liverpool in the Emirates Stadium. Of course, Arsenal coming in as the underdogs at home. A lot of people, of course, had Liverpool to beat Arsenal because of the combination between Suarez and Sturridge. But of course, Arsenal, with the experience they have in the midfield and the great combination and understanding they have in the back, they stepped their game up. Santi Cazorla scored a very good goal from a Sanya cross. He headed it, hits the post, comes back on the volley, open goal, beautiful finish. And second half, of course, Ramsey scores a phenomenal finish as well in the half volley in the air, and it went top corner. But of course, the talking point is how well were Arsenal playing in the midfield, how great were the 5 midfielders they had, because of course they were missing Flamini, but in the same time, how many chances did Liverpool miss as well? Of course, let's go and take a look at first of all the 2 goals and a bit of a disagreement between Sturridge and Suarez when Suarez went for a shot and he missed it. Of course, Sturridge shouting at Suarez, making sure to let him know that he should have squared the ball. But of course, that wasn't the case. And let's go and take a look at it. Of course, me, myself, as an Arsenal fan, I hope this great run of form continues. And of course, they have United next week away. Even though our away record's been much better than our home record, I just want to see Arsenal perform well. And I hope this performance continues. And I hope the midfield continues playing that good. Of course, with Ozan, Cazorla and Arteta in the team, you can't ask for anything better. And now going on to our next game, which was the whitewash game, as I called it after I saw it, was Man City and Norwich. Now, Man City went into the game, of course, with a lot of chances to begin with. In the first few minutes, they had a few chances, but they beat Norwich 7-0. But what it was, the first 3 goals that Man City scored were mistakes from Norwich. Man City, of course, Aguero's the own goal, and then Aguero, Silva. They had 7 different goal scorers, and those 7 different goal scorers, of course, are world class already. They've played together really well. Silva and Yaya Toure combination has been very good. Aguero's been finding space. Nestatic has been very good in defense and coming up for corners. And of course, Negredo's fitting in the team very well. How about we all go and look at all the goals combined, all the 7 goals, and you give us a great idea of which goal and how well are Man City playing throughout the season, and are they consistent enough? Let's take a look at it. Well, of course, after that performance that Man City had with Norwich, do people still think that there will be strong title contenders with Arsenal zooming up 5 points clear of Liverpool and Chelsea? Or will Chelsea and Liverpool still stay as the title contenders? Are people still going to rule out Arsenal? Well, we're just going to have to wait and see from next weekend's performances from all the other big teams, and of course the bigger game between Arsenal and Man United. And of course, let's see how well City, Chelsea, Liverpool and Tottenham as well perform throughout the weekend. That's enough from me, guys. Now it's just time to go back to Mohammad. Take care.
Hassooni, thank you for the in-depth detail and analysis of the games and some great goals we saw during those matches. And as Hassooni mentioned several times during his bit, we do appreciate your comments, opinions and views on Across the Line. So please keep them rolling in, and maybe in the future you will see them in upcoming episodes. So from us here at Across the Line, goodbye.